Howdy folks, how are you all doing? My name is Rees and welcome to episode 0 of my Tekkit Classic Reborn 2.0 pack. I'm really excited to play this. Yes, it's happening under duress. I'm being forced to by an evil clone of myself that I created to create videos for me that lives in my computer. It's a complicated backstory. Fact of the matter is, I had a lot of fun with the original Tekkit Classic Reborn, still have it installed actually, but this is the new version from our mate Tenseo. It has been updated to 1.10, and it's got some really neat features. Whereas the last version was kind of a recreation of Tekkit Classic, this one kind of does its own thing. It's got a lot of really cool stuff in it. I decided to start the series out, though, by showing you folks how to install it and get it set up, because that's like the #1 question I get on my original series. I decided to just knock that out right away. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to technicpack.net. Should be linked in the description. If not, let me know in the comments, because that means that I forgot, and I'll need to fix that. From there, get the launcher. That'll download. You can launch it. Go over to modpacks. Up here, you can type in TCR. I don't know why I said T like that. You'll get the original Tekkit Classic Reborn, TCR 2.0, and a bunch of knockoffs, but this is the one you're looking for here by, again, Tenseo. You can go ahead and install that. The button will be down here. Mine says play because I already have it installed, and I couldn't be bothered to uninstall it because I've already made a few tweaks to the settings that we won't cover today because it's only really relevant to me because I'm recording. A couple other things you want to do before you launch: go to Launcher Options, and click on that, this cog up here. Go to Java Settings. I would recommend a minimum of 2 gigs of RAM. 4 is ideal. If you're running a mod pack, maybe more. I've got 16. That's just because I have 32 gigs of system memory. 16 is way too much. The game, under no circumstances, will ever need that much memory, but I have it, and it's not being used for anything else, so I was like, why not? If you find that this is limited, and it can only go so high, like it can only go up to like a gig or so, maybe try to update Java and make sure you're running 64-bit Java. If you only have 32-bit Java and your computer can only support 32-bit Java, I can't help you. Now, I'm also using a resource pack. I am using the Faithful 32, which you can get from f32.me. Again, should be linked down below. It comes with all of the vanilla textures as well as several modded textures, which is going to be great. Get the 1.10.2 pack here and download that. Then go over to modpack options, click open, and that'll open your install folder. Go to resource packs and then just drag and drop it in here. And from there, you can go ahead and launch the game, which it's modded Minecraft. It takes a long time, so I had it running. Just go to options and resource packs to enable that resource pack if you decide to use it. Now, my home screen looks different than yours, and there's a reason for that. Now, I'm using a mod called Replay, Minecraft Replay, and when you use it, it puts these 2 options on the main screen: Replay Viewer and Replay Editor, which are not there if you use the custom Minecraft launch screen. So I removed that mod. It doesn't, you can leave it, it won't affect anything. I only have this mod installed, this Replay Viewer here, so that I can get some sweeping cinematic shots later on in this video. For you, you're fine just leaving it as it is. Let's go to single player. I'm going to create a world, and if you folks want to play along in the exact same world that I'm in, follow my directions, give it a name. I'm going to call it Name. Why not? Game mode survival. More world options. From here, we're going to leave generate structures on. We're going to turn on bonus chests, because that'll give us a nice step in the right direction. It'll help us get started a little bit quicker. Allow cheats is on, because I need to go into creative mode so I can fly around and get some screenshots for the thumbnail on YouTube. You could probably leave that off, although it doesn't matter. You can turn it on and just never use the cheats. I don't care what you do. I won't judge you. And then for world type, I'm going to toggle all the way through to realistic. This creates some really beautiful terrain, so we're going to leave it on realistic. And then for the seed, we're going to go with fields. Now, this won't actually generate fields, but roll with me on this one. We're going to create new world, and this should drop you into the exact same world I'm in. However, I'm going to do a lot of work in this episode. I'm going to be trying to build a massive house and gather a lot of resources. so that when we start episode 1, we can immediately start with mods. We won't have to do all of the Minecraft stuff that's normally associated with starting a mod pack, like building a house, building a chest, building your basic tool set. We're going to get all of that out of the way this episode, as well as gathering resources so we can be ready to hit the ground running. And if you want to skip all of that as well, I'll throw a link down below. Right here, you can go ahead and just click accept. And wait, because every time I've tried a test world, it gets a little wonky right here. Just be patient, trust me. But if you want to have everything that I'm going to have at the end of this video, in addition to the seed being down below in the description, I'll also have a download of this world as it is at the end of this video. Oh boy, that was a difficult way of explaining things, but here we are, and there's a reason that I picked this world. Wow, look at the ocean. Absolutely beautiful. So we've got our chest here full of our starter items, a few apples, which will be handy, some wood, some sticks. It looks like we got a scoop in case we want to have fun with bees. Ha ha ha! It works so well in everyone else's here. How about that B side, guys? Yogscast, site B. Oh, okay. Well, this is immediately going well. Can I take... Aha! Okay, new worlds are always a bit off, aren't they? Okay, well, this is a bit ridiculous. It's fine. We're not going to hang around here long. We've got 3 of the 4 torches. There they go. Wonderful. Alright, so there's the ocean. It's beautiful. But the reason we picked this world is because what lies a little bit inland here. And I guess I can go ahead and afford to run a bit. I don't want to exhaust all of my energy, though. But where I want to build my house is just right up here. Look at these trees. This is what this realistic terrain generation gives you. Aren't they just beautiful? We got some oil here, which is great because I'm a Texas boy. I'm going to need that. Cows? Look at the cattle. Oh, man, it's like I've just walked through a door into Texas, which is actually where I am IRL, so not all that great, maybe. I don't know what a pitcher plant is, but I'm interested in finding out. This is where I want to build my house. You can't see it right now, but when I was flying around this world, kind of testing different seeds, I found that this spot right here is nestled perfectly in this little hook of the river, and it's got this big mountain next to it, and just beautiful forest land all around. I was like, this is it. This is where I will build my home, and it will be beautiful. And actually now, we're pretty much done with this portion of the video. What I'm going to do now is, you've heard me talk about the replay mod. I'm going to go ahead and fire that up, and in fact, it should already be fired up. And that's going to allow me to just work, and then get these beautiful kind of Let's Build style sweeping vista shots, which is what you will see for the remainder of the video. So let's get to work, shall we? So the very first thing I tried to do was use the vein mine tool on trees, because there's a lot of very big trees in this area, and I thought, well, that's a good way to get a lot of material. Unfortunately, even though I know that vein mine is installed and I went through the configuration screen several times, I couldn't get any of the tools to work. I couldn't get wood, iron, or stone tools. It wouldn't work with the trees, it wouldn't work with the ore. I decided not to worry about it, and instead I committed myself to just doing what I could to chop down some of the bigger trees and begin work on my house. Now, of course, I used marble for the flooring because I love marble, and I can't think of a Tekkit series that I've ever done in which I didn't use marble. And I got that, actually you'll see where I got that from in a bit, because this Let's Build is going to be split into 2 parts. But I also decided to go ahead and eventually start planting trees a little bit closer to the house, because it became a bit of a burden to have to go out and collect them. Also, I finally built a bed, because I can't even tell you how many times I died in the darkness due to the monsters. It was an absolute mess. I was besieged on all ends at all times. Once I got the bed built and the trees planted nearby, it actually went by pretty quick. All in all, this took me 4 hours, which might sound like a lot, but you have to understand, I did a lot more than just build a pretty cool looking house. I also did a lot of mining. My goal for these episode zeros is to get all of the Minecraft things out of the way. I want to have a solid shelter that's more than just a lean-to or a hole in the wall. I want to have a decent house. And I also like to have a lot of resources. So when we start episode 1, we can hit the ball rolling. That's not a term. We can start with the ball against a bat. No, that's not it either. I like to jump right into the modded stuff. And modded things usually require a lot of tin and copper, iron, redstone. I even had to go to the nether before this one was all said and done and get some glowstone. Speaking of which, I did a lot of mining, so we're going back in time here, and I didn't know this was a thing you could do with the replay mod, but starting back from the beginning, this is all of the mining that I've done underground. So you can see, I started off there searching for marble to use as my flooring, and at the time I wasn't sure what kind of house I was going to build. Spoilers, I never know what I'm building when I start. I always just kind of let my imagination go. But I knew I needed a bit of marble, I also needed a bit of iron, and I wasn't sure what else I would find underground. It wasn't long though before I started to find tin, copper, a ton of coal, and I just mined up whatever I could find. And then as things kind of progressed, as things were safer up on the surface, I spent a lot of time underground at night because there was a lot of mobs outside. But as things progressed upstairs and I got to bed, I spent a bit more time upstairs trying to finish up the house, trying to get a bunch of chests ready to hold all the things I wanted to mine. And then once that was done, I realized I was going to need a lot of resources. I needed to get serious about mining. Just kind of digging down randomly was not going to cut it. So I rethought my mining strategy, and I decided to start a staircase where I had originally started mining, but just straight down to bedrock. And then once I reached bedrock, I went back up to level 10, and I began going out to either side of the tunnel that I'd created, and I started to branch mine because I needed diamonds and I needed to find some lava. Now obviously, in this view you can see plenty of lava, but when you're in the game, you can't see that lava, you don't know where it is, and I'm starting to worry I wouldn't find any before the end of my session. Like I said, this all took about 4 hours, and I was ready for bed when it was all said and done. But I did eventually find plenty of diamonds via branch mining, and I finally came across a pocket of lava, which I was able to turn to obsidian and mine up and bring back with me to the surface for our nether portal to get the glowstone. Alrighty folks, well that took 4.5 hours of my life that I will never get back, but I made a lot of great progress. I've got a pretty good mining area set up over there behind that door. Maybe we'll take a tour of it in a future episode. I've got my portal to the nether. I've got a pretty decent house. Not too happy with the roof, but that's something that can change later on when we get EMC going and I don't have to manually mine all of these resources. That'll be pretty good. Inside of the house is very plain right now. It doesn't even have a basement. That's the thing I'll have to work on in the future. But I've got plenty of building supplies. Tin ore does not go in here with building supplies. It goes in here with resources, which is looking pretty good. Lots of this poor tin iron ore, which is a pain to deal with, because each one of these will only give you 2 nugs, but you know, it's something, I guess. Plant life is a bit of a joke. Other? Ooh, look at the signs. Nah, but what we really needed for this episode, and the things that I think took the longest to get a hold of, was the diamonds, the glowstone, and the obsidian. But we finally got it all, and we're ready for episode 1. So tune back in here in a couple of days, and if you want to know when that's coming out, hit the subscribe button, though likely YouTube will still not show you the video if you subscribe. They're pretty notoriously bad about that sort of thing. But to just come back to the channel, there's other things to watch here. Maybe you'll find something else that you fancy. Assassin's Creed's pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, the game's... I'm playing through Unity, it's not good. But I think that I'm okay playing it, and it's probably decently interesting to watch. So maybe check that out. Until next time, thank you folks all so much for tuning in. God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you later. Bye!